Welcome back, guys, to some more Elder Scrolls Online guides, and we are back with the Nightblade slash Archer. If you haven't already, go check out our previous guides. They are new beginners or new players guides. New beginners guys, not new beginners. It means the same thing, but they're new player guides. As you can see, I'm only level 7, so it is really basic, and for the first few levels we run down the skills and whatnot. But this guide is aimed towards what you should not be doing as you're leveling up, and I would say until about level 15 is what I'm aiming for on my next sort of guide level, just so we can get into weapon swapping. And up until that level you don't really want to be doing too much, because as a new player, I know I did it, you come into the game, you see all of these skill trees and you're just there like, oh my god, there's so much, I can get so many abilities, I can do so many things, and you're just there like, I need to do it all, I need to get every skill point, and you just go, you get all the skill points, and you put skill points in random abilities that you want to use, see what it's like, find out it's okay, maybe not what you thought it was going to be, and then wish you didn't, because obviously you have to spend crowns to get a purchase restore off of the crown store. By the way, guys, it's 700 crowns. Or you can visit your major city for your race, so there's 3 of them in total, and at that city they can actually reset your skill points for, I believe, 1,500 or even maybe more gold, but it's not too much. I remember in World of Warcraft I wanted to reset my skills and it just went up and up each time, and it was hefty. But Elder Scrolls is not like that, so sorry about that, guys. Let's start off. You've got your skills, okay? As I said, check out our previous guides to get sort of basic knowledge of what you want to be speccing in, what's going to help you out, what's going to drop enemies really fast. But what you don't want to be doing is actually speccing too many points into the passive abilities to start off with. Now, that's not to say that you can, but what I'd suggest is don't spec in anything that increases damage, okay? So as you can see, I've specced 1 in my current passive ability that increases my base stamina, health, and magicka recovery. So anything that increases your base like stamina, health, or even recovery, I would suggest specking in that. But anything such as this above, as you can see, increases weapon and spell damage while invisible or stealth by 5%. It doesn't really matter at the lower levels. You do enough damage to take out the lower level enemies. They haven't got too much health, they haven't got too many abilities that you need to try and evade. You can just use the dodge skill to get out of the way. Goddamn headset, there we go. Yeah, you can just use the dodge skill to get out of the way, but you don't really need them at this lower level. They're best used for when you can actually weapon swap and switch between different abilities and have a whole nother row of abilities, so then you can have a wider range to actually apply this weapon damage increase to. So that is the first thing I would watch out for. Like, you haven't got too many unlocked at the moment, but there you go. That would be, actually no, that's not too good. Once again, that's relying on ability to get your max magicka. It's not just outright increasing it. Let's have a look at the others. Increases effectiveness of healing done, may be good at the later levels, but obviously you're not going to unlock that until you're level 22 in siphoning. We're only level 10, so you'd have to use a lot of the strife ability. Now, moving down onto these skill lines, as a Nightblade or an Archer, you're going to be dual wielding, okay? I did the major mistake in the first guide of actually specking in one-handed and shield. Not thinking, I thought one-handed, yeah, I used one-handed weapons, not realizing that there's a dual wield spec underneath. Now, dual wield is just amazing, and bow, obviously we're aiming to be able to weapon swap from a bow to a dual wielding character, just being able to take out targets from afar, and if they get too close, switch to our melee, be able to stealth, stun them, all of that greatness. It's fantastic. It's such a good class to play. But anything else you don't really need to spec in, just because it's not good for your class. So if you are a wizard, you're only going to be specking in staff abilities. If you are a tank or a warrior, you only want to be specking in either two-handed if you're DPS, or if you're a tank taking on those bosses trying to take all the damage one-handed and shield. That's my mistake. I need to visit the big city. I don't know what it's actually called for my race. I will get back to you and even maybe leave it in the comments if not on the next guide. But this is only a quick one just to give you a general overview, okay, of what you don't want to be doing. So that right there, the weapon ones, is pretty self-explanatory. Now, something good about actually coupling these is if you do get passive abilities, such as it is that one, that increase base stamina, your weapon abilities rely on stamina rather than magicka, so that's just increased stamina towards your weapon abilities. And as a DPS Nightblade, you want to be using stamina and as much of these as you can, and using your main abilities, using your magicka to stun your targets, or stealth and then stun, which I think is fantastic. Now, armor, this is the tricky one. At lower levels, you're gonna generally level up all armor skill lines. I was about to say slots, but no, you're generally gonna level up all armor skill lines for the pure fact, as you can see, I'm lower levels, okay? I've only got light armor. What is it? I haven't even got a helmet, I don't think. No, I haven't even got a helmet. Damn. Yeah, I've got light armor, medium armor, heavy armor. Not even got new legs, medium armor again. I'm only level 7, but this is what I've picked up from questing. Just generally killing PvE mobs out in the area. Not really dungeoning, because I haven't done too much of dungeoning. But overall, you're going to level them up a fair amount each. Now, when you get towards level 15 and weapon swapping, and in our next guide, we'll actually be starting to focus on medium armor. So if you do want something to aim for, go for medium armor. But right now, I wouldn't suggest speccing anything in these. But if you do have a spare skill point, perhaps from a quest line, sky shards, spec in medium armor, just because medium armor is better for the DPS sort of class we're playing. Because overall, guys, we're dual wielding, we're hitting a lot, like we're hitting 1 hit per second, 1.5 seconds, compared to a two-handed or a one-handed and a shield warrior that's doing it every, like, I'd say 2 seconds mainly. But so what we're doing, we're getting more hits off, so obviously we're going to try and aim for those critical strikes. So increased critical strike rating is what you need. The more critical strike damage you have, there's the stamina recovery again for our weapon skill lines rather than our main ones, which is once again what we're aiming for. And just overall good stuff. There you go, even reduces the cost of sneaking. Yes, fantastic. So increased weapon damage. If we're getting numerous hits off, having increased weapon damage for each hit would be insane. So yeah, definitely medium armor over like the light armor, where you've got reducing the magic cost of spells by 1%. That would be good if you do like to use your main abilities over your weapon abilities, but I wouldn't suggest it. Increased magic recovery, spell resistance, spell critical. So that's aimed for mages and apprentices, or apprentices from dungeon defenders. Sorry about that, guys. Different series. Increase your armor for each piece of heavy armor. There you go. So health recovery, this is for tanks and all of that good stuff. Now on to the last 3 skill lines, guys. The last 3 skill lines, okay? Moving on, guys. These last 2, or one of the last 3 actually, is something I would actually suggest you spec in more towards level 10, pushing on to 15 once again. Just focus on your weapon abilities and your main abilities for now, these lot up here. And then if you've got the spare skill points, maybe you've gone adventuring and got a load of sky shards, get soul trap, because what I was doing at lower levels, to actually revive yourself or allies, you have to have a soul shard, oh, soul gem, sorry. You have to have a soul gem to be able to revive them. Now I was just buying them from the shop outright. It was costing me a lot of gold, and as you get to a higher level it costs more. You can actually get this soul trap, and once you've got empty souls, once you kill an enemy with this trap, it actually fills them. It fills the gem up, reducing the amount of gold you're actually like outputting each time you play the game. Saves you a lot of money. You can revive people at will. You can fill them up whenever you want. So it's something good to save you a lot of money. And if you are a dungeoneering player, I'd say, because you want to be able to fill up your soul gems whenever you can to revive players at your own will, like whenever you want to. Now, Wood Elf skills is generally just down to whatever race you've picked. I picked the Wood Elf just because increased experience gain with the bow, fantastic. Increased stamina regeneration, fantastic for our class. I don't need to go over that again. Increased resistance, that will be good in PvP, but once again increases max stamina and reduces detection radius once you're stealthed. So overall, a brilliant class for a rogue slash nightblade character, and even a sneaky boist or archer. Sorry, boist. What the hell is a boist? Fuck. Oh, sorry, language. God, boist. I actually can't go over that, but yeah, archer. That's just fantastic. But whatever race you pick, it doesn't really matter. That is down to your own personal opinion. I would suggest speccing 1 or 2 in whatever you've unlocked. Like, once again, I said it on the first thing I said about the main skills. Only specking passive abilities if they're increasing your main stats, so stamina, health, and mana. Increased stamina regeneration, that would be perfect if we had a skill point to do it. And now, finally, guys, okay, I would suggest staying away from the crafting skill lines for now. What I'm going to do with this character is actually just power level all of the professions I want to power level. At first, I was just getting 1 skill point in each, and I was aiming for the tailorer, or like the, where is he? The blacksmithing, here we go. Yeah, minor hireling, that will actually send you crafting recipes, not recipes, materials, ingredients for whatever you want to craft, and I had one in each. It was a giant waste of skill points just because I didn't keep up most of the professions. As a Nightblade or Archer, I'm only going to pick 2 or 3, and it's probably either going to be clothing, so I can do my armor, blacksmithing, so I can do my weapons, and woodworking, so I can do my bows. So probably one of them, just because you don't want 2 of sort of main armor. You could go with clothing and weapons, so you can build your own armor, build your own weapons. But then I would rather go build my own armor. You find decent enough weapons. Potentially build up blacksmithing for weapons as 2 over bows, because I'm going to be using my swords, my dual wielding a lot more, and then I'm going to be using my bow. I'm only going to be using my bow to engage my target. You got to remember that, guys. If you are following along with this guide as well, because I'm not too sure, you may be, leave a comment down below if you are. And I would actually couple, like, say, clothing and blacksmithing with either alchemy or enchanting, just because alchemy, you can then make your own pots, you can make better pots, you can make them whenever you want, go around and collect ingredients, you don't have to always buy them. Or enchanting, just so you don't potentially have to have potions to help you out. You've already got the increased health because you've got it as an enchant. You don't need that potion to heal you when you get low, because you won't get low. You've got a lot of health, and you've got increased weapon damage. You know, there's a lot of different combinations you can do, guys. But that's gonna end it up here on this very, very fiery lava lake, guys. It is my new favorite area. First it was the hill up in the marsh as semi-mong. Now it's here, the lava lake as it's semi. It actually is brilliant. Look, it just illuminates the whole ridges of the side of the mountains. I think it's fantastic. But guys, if you have enjoyed this guide, be sure to leave a like down below. I'm going to grind away and try and get to level 15 for our next guide by next week some point. If you have anything you could add to the guide, any tips or anything you want to, don't know, just pass on, think it's useful, it's helpful for new players, be sure to leave a like down below. And be sure to look out for Elder Scrolls 6, guys. That's said to be coming out this year, and if it is, we're definitely going to be covering it. But until next time, guys, thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.